what I would like the audience to get out of this play is the reverence and joy for the seemingly mundane. What you take, what, let's say an hour and a half of these two people's lives, a slice of their life, and that's about maybe just food and beer, and it becomes so much more than that. So I think, and just not to continue to hit home this what we've been going through, but it's hard not to. I think that there's a simplicity that we've all discovered, been forced to discover in the pandemic, and that's kind of what, when you strip down the relationship between Arlene and Peter, it's just that they've stripped away everything. His job is, they're not talking about his job on this visit. They're not talking about they're trying not to talk about the boys. They're got back to just he and she connecting. And I love, there's a moment where, where my character just begs Peter to get off his phone. And that is so relatable. And I think that there's been a lot of talk about, maybe we got what we needed in this break. Not saying for the theater world, because I am all for theater thriving, and I cannot wait to get back out there and to support theater and to be on the stage. But there's a simplicity to it's interesting. It's weird to say. It sounds like a total dichotomy for me to say this comical farce. There's a simplicity to it, but there is a simplicity to it. It's a looking at a marriage, a seemingly ordinary marriage, right? And under sitcom circumstances, but what these two discover, and I dare say what our waiter discovers about himself, was I have a whole life imagined for the relationship that our characters have with the waiter after this night is over. Like I don't stop there. Like I think that we, that we went through enough that we're in each other's lives for good. And so I think it's the simplicity of human connection. I've never said out loud in a play, it's such a raw thing for a woman to say. I used to write stand-up jokes about it, about women of a certain age becoming somewhat invisible. But I'd never in a comedy heard a woman say middle-aged women are invisible, and gone, yeah. And I always say that comedy is like, it's like strumming. You strum your hands across the wounds, and we're kind of strumming our hands across the wounds. Our waiter is wounded. We are wounded as couples, but we get through. We find, laughs in the ordinary. We laugh through the tears. And at the end of the day, we get what we really need, which is nourishment.
For me, I would like for people to leave the theater, leaving after seeing this play, the virtual theater, just leave appreciating their lives, where they are at this moment. Find, no matter how crazy and wacky and out of control or insane it can feel at times, find the joy and find as we say, I'm Buddhist, we say, turn the poison into medicine. I'm from the South. Turn the lemons into lemonade. Find the goodness in whatever craziness exists, as in this past year with COVID-19 being locked down, the industry being locked down for months. A lot of the social injustices that are popping up and makes it very heavy sometimes, with all the young Black men that are being brown, Black, yellow men that are being shot. Find, and that's so hard to find light in situations like that. But there aren't accidents. I don't believe in coincidences or accidents. Everything happens for a reason. So be able to appreciate our lives where they are, and be able to find joy in any situation that we attract into our space. So leave with joy and happiness and peace somewhere.
For me, what would I like the audience to get? I think the best theater presents recognizable human behavior. So people can actually see themselves or pieces of themselves on stage to identify. And that's where I hope the laughter and the joy and the pain, the mourning comes from. Because I feel, particularly with this beautiful little comedy, every single person, all of us have at some point gone to a restaurant and wish we had a different kind of service. And that's the starting point of the play. And it just goes from there. And I think it's door upon door upon door of self-reflection and refraction. And what I hope is that we can all see that commonality. That's not to get sort of big thoughts about it, but part of the reason that I stick with being an actor and even became one in the first place is because I like telling stories and I like being part of stories that relate the human experience so we can all feel closer together. That's why I do what we do, because I'm still a lonely little boy at 53, and I want to connect. I want to connect with the audience. I want to connect with the other characters. I want to connect with people. That's the whole point, and that's what I hope the audience gets to.
I can't tell you exactly what I want the audience to get out of this play, because I hope that they find their own meaning in the play on their own. But I will say I want them to walk away having had a good laugh, having experienced some joy in these challenging times, and maybe thinking a little bit about how to have empathy for people who are a bit different from themselves, and how we treat each other and how important it is to treat each other with kindness and respect, regardless of our differences.
So if you'd like to see Slow Food, you need to log on to ictlongbeach.org, and go to their ticket tab and make a reservation. Get your ticket to see Slow Food by Wendy Macleod, directed by Myra Mazor, and starring Meredith Thomas, Stu James, and me, Perry Ojeda. Hope to see you soon. That's ictlongbeach.org.